Nathan, congratulations on the awards today. How much pride do you take on the defensive side of the ball?
Since I've been in San Diego State, defensive has been our number one goal, and I had to buy into it. And I noticed that I could be a very good defensive player with my length and capability on the floor. So, more importantly, defense has been a huge role for me since I ever stepped foot in this place.
I want to go back to the game on Saturday when you guys had the large lead, but it was down to one, and then you guys took that timeout with 9 seconds left. You had a block. Keyshot had a block. How much belief is there in the team that when you need a stop, you guys can collectively get one?
I feel the coaches strongly believe in us that we could get a stop when time is called due, and we exhibit that in the Nevada game at the last end.
What would it mean to you to go on another run this week in Las Vegas in the Mountain West tournament?
To me, a great thing because ever since I've been here, we always get to the finals, and last year we were able to win it, and I believe winning it this year will set a huge statement for us before we head towards the NCAA tournament.
Congratulations on a great year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. We'll go to Mark.
Hi, Nathan. I know you're still playing this season, but I'm wondering if you could take us through your decision to walk on senior night. Obviously, Matt Bradley and Adam Seiko did not, and said they intend to return next year. You could return next year. What was behind the decision to participate in senior night festivities?
I believe that I just have to focus on the present, and me being a senior and having the senior night was like something in the present. So I believe focusing on it now would be much better for me instead of thinking about the long term about what I have to do next year and what I don't have to do next year.
Are you still making that decision? Is there a chance you could come back?
As of now, I'm just focused on the Mount West tournament that we are about to go to, and the NCAA tournament. And after that, I'll talk to the coaches and my family to see where I go from there.
I understand you're focusing right now on the season. Is there are there pros and cons that you can share with us about why you would decide not to come back versus why you would decide to come back? What are some of the things you're weighing? For example, Matt Bradley talked a lot about getting his degree. I believe you're going to finish your degree, I think, in May, correct?
Yes, sir.
So what would be the sort of the decision? What would it be about?
For now, I think the only decision will be just have another run with my teammates, and I believe if I could able to achieve everything that we have this year, and see what is left for me to achieve, that will be another reason for me to come back. But for now, I believe achieving the maximum effort in this Mount West tournament and the NCAA tournament is the main goal for me now.
And last thing about this, have you thought about how good next year's team would be now that you know that Matt's coming back and Adam's coming back? You have some good freshmen coming. You see Jaden Liddy every day in practice. How good would that team be if you were on it?
For me personally, I believe San Diego State will always be one of the best teams in the West Coast, whether Nathan is involved or not. Because I've been able to witness from going from Devin Waston to Malachi Flynn to Matt Mitchell and now to being on part of this team. I feel like each year we come out, the coaches are able to adjust with the personnel they have, and we produce the best out of it.
Thanks, Nathan.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Mark. We'll go to Lee Hamilton.
Hey, Nathan. I don't know if I'd call San Diego State unrewarded, but 30-2, no tournament, obviously the COVID season. What's it been like to be within the circle, to have all the success, and yet never really have gotten to the show just because of everything that's happened in society?
Yeah, that's all part of life. You have to do the best that you're granted with in life. And even with the 30-2, which I felt like was one of my best college careers, I feel like we had more to give out to the nation and even our fans. It didn't go as well as planned, but our seniors were able to hold that in mind that, hey, we had something good and we did all the best that we could. So I believe that was a plus for us.
Does it take a special type of player's psyche to play at San Diego State, considering the emphasis on defense?
Uh, uh, for me, I believe everybody has to buy in to be in San Diego State. You have to have like a selflessness act to be able to achieve what you came here to achieve, and defense play a huge role for us to like be able to be seen among the top teams in the country. So everybody that comes here has the mindset, and the coaches make it known to them about our defensive ability. So that's one thing that is always put in place if you have to come to San Diego State.
And one other question, this is off the basketball court. Because of your illness a couple of years ago and the pre-existing conditions, how scary was COVID for you to deal with?
Before the season started, I didn't know what to do because I had less knowledge about my condition. But I sat down and I talked to our team. Provided me with like specialist doctors in those kind of field, and they were able to assure me that there was nothing to be worried about. And I trusted the team and the coaches about the effort that I was provided with. So coming into the season, I was a bit rusty because I've not been able to play. But as time rose, I was able to buy in and be the player that I was.
Thank you. Congratulations on a great career.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lee. We'll go to Austin.
Hey, Nate, congratulations on winning Defensive Player of the Year.
Thank you.
I wanted to look at last week. Against Fresno and Nevada, you struggled a little bit with foul trouble, picking up 2 fouls in the first half. You know, as the bigger games come ahead, I just want to ask your mindset. Do you come into the game thinking, I'm going to avoid fouls, or do you stick to your game defensively?
I think I have to stick with my game defensively because if I'm going to be concerned about my foul issue, I'm going to shy away from being the player that my teammates known me to be. So I think I have to go in all out and be mindful of my fouls in order to make us successful in the league.
And then I wanted to ask you a hypothetical question. I'm going to ask the same thing to Matt. With the defense coming through in the clutch in the last 2 games, hypothetically, in these next couple of games, if the game's on the line, would you rather be on offense or defense?
I feel like we're known for our defensive capabilities. So no matter what happens, I feel like any team that goes against us at the last end, their coaches are worried about our defensive capabilities, being able to switch across the court. So I feel like I always put my money on defense.
Great. Thank you, Nate.
Welcome.
Thanks, Austin. Looking for any final questions for Nate? And we go to Darnay.
Hey, Nate, good to see you and congratulations. How much was Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year a goal of yours after seeing Kata take it last year and then a teammate of yours, Malachi, get it the year before?
I feel like our coaches always say defensive and rebound wins championship, and to be part of a team that is very highly defensive rated in the nation, I feel like it will be beneficial for at least one of our guys to win it, and luckily it was me that was able to win it. So I feel very great to have that award.
And you've had a string of games here now as a team where you guys have kind of hit some sort of offensive drought. And in some cases, it's allowed teams to kind of hang with you maybe more than they should have. From your perspective, what's been the reason for that? And what will it take to kind of avoid those types of stretches now here in the postseason?
I feel like we shouldn't allow our offensive game affect our defensive game, as our coach Dutch always preaches. And I believe if we're able to grind it out on half-court defensively, no team could be able to close that gap like what has happened these past 2 games.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Darnay. We'll go to John.
Nathan, I was just going to ask you, what does it say about your teammates that, you know, in a game like against Orlando Robinson, Fresno State, when you have those 2 fouls early, you're still getting great defensive production, whether it's from Josh or Tahiro or Keyshot or other players on the inside, AG?
Yeah, that goes to tell you that we being number 1 defensive team in the nation does not only rely on me as I have the award. Keyshot can do exactly the same job I'm doing, and Josh can do the job that I'm doing also. So we have enough guys that can make defensive play in the clutch moment when one is not available. So our team defense doesn't only rely on me, relies on the whole team as well. So that's one thing that we rely on even when I'm in or out.
And then this is neither here nor there, but I don't know if I've ever asked you directly about this. 2 years ago, would you have returned for the NCAA tournament? Were you planning to play if San Diego State was in the tournament 2 years ago?
Yes, I was planning to play. Actually, I was cleared the day the game was cancelled, and I was heading back from the hospital with a site-mate until I believe Malachi texted me and asked me if I've seen what is going on, and Sergio, who was with me, then told me like, yeah, he thought I saw it on my phone, but I didn't. But the NCAA was actually cancelled.
Well, I always wanted to ask you that. Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, John. Back to Mark.
Nathan, what is your degree going to be in?
Business marketing.
And are you interested in a graduate degree at some point, or and what would that be in?
Yeah, you can never stop learning because as life goes on, you have to learn in one way or the other. So having the maximum degree that I can have in the field of marketing would be one thing that I could I can be proud of.
I also want to ask you about NIL as a foreign athlete. I believe you are not allowed to market yourself and make money, whereas American players can. How much of a frustration is that for you, particularly now that you've been in the program, you have a profile, people know who you are, you probably would be quite marketable. Is that a frustration on your part?
When I heard about it, it was, but I feel like it takes steps to achieve something greater like this because American students have also struggled in the past where they were not able to like even make money off their name. So it's frustration, but it's going to take some time before everything is worked out in its place. So hopefully, maybe if I don't get it, maybe the next African kid in San Diego State will be able to like attain that access.
And is your plan after college basketball to play professionally?
Yes, I plan on playing professionally.
How much of a lot of kids that come from Africa, there's a pressure on them to support an extended family back home, and you can do that through professional basketball. Do you feel those pressures? And is that something that you sort of aspire to do one day?
With my sisters, they are in a better place now, so I don't feel like I'm much pressured to be of support to family back home. They have actually told me I shouldn't make a decision based on their life. I should make a decision based on my life and what I want to do with it. I feel like even as a male, that's something like you always want to do just to help the family, not being in a position where people can count on you. That's one thing every male in this world like has that goal in place.